I've got this by me.
Hi, Mick.
How you doing, Neil?
Pretty good.
All right, listen, tell me, what are Whitesnake up to at the moment?
Well, we've been writing lots of stuff for the new album, which hopefully we'll be recording during the summer and come out in the autumn. We're still without a drummer, though it's quite possible that we would use somebody just for the album and then get a permanent member after that.
Yeah, because you lost Cozy Powell at the start of the year, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. He's become the P in Emerson, Lake and Powell now.
Did that set the band back a lot, would you say? Losing a drummer at such a crucial stage?
In terms of a few months, yes, but not critically, because, I mean, it's still Whitesnake, you know, no matter what. I mean, the songs are really excellent for the next one. I'm very optimistic, and, you know, we'll get over it.
Okay. Last year, you spent a lot of time in America with the band. I mean, I think the Slide It In album was the first recording that the band had released that really did break you in America.
Yeah, we'd had a little bit of a success in 1980 with Fool for Your Loving, etc., but Slide It In eventually sold nearly 500,000 copies over there and was on the charts for about 6 months, which was great. I think a lot to do with being on Geffen Records, which really did a good job for us. And we toured out there with Dio and Quiet Riot and went down very well.
Was it an ambition of the band's for a long time to crack America?
Oh, of course. I mean, we do pretty well, you know, everywhere else. So we'd always been very frustrated that we would go there and it's like, White who, you know, David who?
X who?
No, X Deep Purple, not X Who.
That's right. Tell me, now that it's starting to happen for you in America an awful lot in a big way, would you ever consider taking up permanent residence in the...
Well, it's possible because we've actually got American management now based in Los Angeles, and Mr. Coverdale is living out there at the moment, and you know, I don't know whether I would live there for the rest of my life, but I'd like to give it a shot.
You don't see yourself as a Hollywood superstar, Neil?
Well, of course I do. No. No more than you do, Mick.
All right, we're going to take a look at the new Whitesnake video. This is Love Ain't No Stranger. With Neil Murray and Amanda Reddington.
Yeah, I've got to ask you, what's the biggest kick you get out of playing Whitesnake? Is it like making the records or playing live or touring America?
Are all the girls?
Being on the show with the girls and you, Mick. No,
that's a nice answer, bless him. He can come back.
No, I like playing live most of all, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like actors in the theatre, you know, there's nothing to replace people reacting to you right at that moment. I mean, the rest of it's great because it's, you know, making records is how you make the money, really, but playing live is more satisfying.
Tell me about this Phenomena project you're involved in, Neil.
Well, it's sort of a semi-concept album, I think.
It's got a lot of big names on it, hasn't it? Mel
yes.
Galley, who you worked with in Whitesnake.
That's right. Him and his brother had the whole idea of the thing. And Glenn Hughes, who used to be in Deep Purple, sings brilliantly on the whole thing. Cozy Powell plays drums. Don Airy, who used to be in Ozzy's band and Rainbow, plays a bit of keyboards, etc., etc.
When's it coming out?
I think this month, actually. The end of... maybe in June. Yeah, beginning of June.
You recommend we get it?
Yeah, I think so.
When will you be playing live? Whitesnake will be playing live in Europe again?
It's a bit difficult to say. I would hope before Christmas, but we've got to get the new album done first, and it's quite possible that we would play in the States first and then come here.
Yeah.
But I hope before Christmas,
Fingers
but
crossed,
soon
look forward
after.
to that, yeah.
All right, listen, Neil, thanks very much. We're going to talk to you a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Right now, we've got the Bon Jovi video for Only Lonely.
Great band.
That's right, last night, right?
Bon Jovi and Only Lonely. Welcome to Phil Lynott. Welcome to the Skylab.
Oh.
How you doing? All right?
Yeah, good.
Right, now your single is at number 18 with Gary Moore. I mean, Out in the Fields, that must be amazing for you.
Yeah, considering
really...
it's only had 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, it's flown in, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, how did that come about? I mean, who decided that you should work with Gary Moore, and how did it come around?
Well, you may or may not know that me and Gary were in Lizzie together.
Yeah.
Then we fell apart, there was a big row
yeah.
and stuff. Anyway, the argument was made up, and I asked him to play on the Lizzie farewell shows in Hammersmith. So, consequently, after that, he asked me then to play with him in Belfast.
Oh, I see, yeah.
During his recent tour, because they were doing a documentary, and I jumped up and played Parisian Waterways and a couple of other things.
Lovely, yeah.
And Then after that, his management seen us on stage together, and we do work well together, me and Gary.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And they said, why don't you record something together? And Gary had a song, and I had a song, and his one was Out in the Fields, and mine was the Military Man, which is the other side of the record.
Right.
So we got together and we recorded it.
Are you pleased?
Yeah.
You must be. Is it going to be a follow-up, do you think?
I think, you know, because of the success of this one, I'm sure the management will find a way
They
of
must do. They must do.
finding space. I mean, me and Gary enjoy working together. I mean, we couldn't work together on a permanent basis.
No?
But, no. But I think when we do work together, every time we have worked together, we've had a hit record. So
Yeah. So maybe an album then?
Well, at this rate, we should come up with an album of hits. You know, and, there's a few. We've done Parisians and Sarah and a couple on Black Rose. And
Well, let's have a look at your hit single, Out in the Fields. Here it is now. Gary Moore, Phil Lynott. Phil Lynott and Gary Moore and Out in the Fields. And I'm talking to Phil Lynott. Phil, what happened to the band Grand Slam that you formed after Thin Lizzy?
I was forced to go solo. The thing was that we ran out of money, I think.
Yeah.
We were looking around for a deal, and it seemed to take ages for us to get a deal, so we ran out of money. So next of all, I went off to America to do something with Huey Lewis.
Yeah.
And when I came back, I read in all the newspapers that two of the guys had left, and it was difficult to get on with and stuff like that. So
You mustn't believe everything you read in the papers, though.
I think I had to, considering that we were supposed to be gigging the next night, you know.
So the rumours about you going solo are true? You are?
Yeah, forced to go solo, yeah.
What about live gigs for you? I mean, any sort of coming up?
I've been offered a few. I was offered that Knapworth one, if I formed a band together. But I think the thing about Grand Slam was when Thin Lizzy broke up, I thought I should definitely get back on the road, because I wanted to prove to myself that I could play live.
Yeah, quite.
Well, I did that now, so I think I should actually get an album together first, and then I'll get a band together.
Do you ever regret the decision to split Thin Lizzy?
Yeah, sort of. You know, it's like a girlfriend. You know, I mean, I couldn't go back to her, but you know, I enjoyed being with her at the time. So.
But you've been successful since anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
you have.
Yeah, sure.
Great. All right, after this next video, we're going to get Neil and Mick back, and we'll have a chinwag, dear. Right, so stay with us. As promised. At last, here's the Kiss. Thrills in the Night. Kiss and Thrills in the Night, and here we are all together. Phil Lynott, Mick Wall and Neil Murray.
All right, lads, tell me, apart from being bass players, you've both got a lot in common. For instance, Gary was in Thin Lizzy, Phil, and you've been part of the Gary Moore band. Tell me, Neil, how do you rate the Phil and Gary single, Out in the Fields?
I think it's great. I also like the B-side, the one that Phil wrote, because he tends to write songs from a sort of a bass player's approach. I mean, I can really relate to it, you know. I mean, slightly more rhythmic, more American... R&B, yeah, slightly funkier. I mean, I think they bring out something in each other.
And
maybe
you're not
it's
saying any of this because he's sitting here, right?
Oh, whoops! Phil, pretend Neil's not here.
He's only dropping his radio mic. Don't worry.
Easy, Phil, easy. He likes it, really.
Phil, pretend Neil's not here, and tell me honestly, how do you rate him as a bass player?
Oh, yeah, one of the best. Thanks very much, Neil.
He's great, £10.
Now, the thing about Neil's playing is that he always sneaks up on you. Everybody I've worked with have said, you know, if they're looking for a bass player, Neil's name always comes up. And then you're always checking the back of your album sleeves of albums you like, and Neil's playing is there. And when you do check his bass playing, the thing I like most about is his sound and the way he plays always complements who he's playing behind. I mean, he'll play simple when it's a lead guitar solo so that your concentration is on the solo, and of course if there's a difficult riff in there, he has the ability to play all the fast stuff.
But also, I have to say that when people occasionally say, can you play in a different style, the person who they say, can you play like, is almost always Phil.
Oh, really?
Believe it or not, really.
Phil, tell me, and after Neil said that, tell me, I mean, Neil gets a lot of work outside of Whitesnake as a session man. He's recently played with Randy California on his album. He's got this Phenomena thing happening. Does anybody ever have the cheek to ring you up and hire you and say, come and play the bass? We don't want the singing, we just want the 4 strings.
Nobody asked me to play the bass because Neil's got all the jobs, you know, so...
Yeah, well, if I could sing and write and do all the things that Phil does, I would be quite happy to be doing that. I'm sure he doesn't lie awake worrying about whether he gets asked to do bass sessions.
It's not what you told me earlier on.
No, I mean, obviously, it would be nice to work with the amount of people that say Neil has, but, you know, Neil has it.
Let's have a look. Let's go into another video. Let's have a look. This is Iron Maiden coming out. This is Number of the Beast.
Lynott.
I'm going to ask you guys, you ever thought about giving up rock and roll and sort of going into something like healthy, like gardening or...
TV presenting.
Or TV presenting? No, but have you?
I suppose I'll be faced with that choice soon when I get too old to rock and roll.
No, I'm not saying that.
No. I don't know. It's something that gets into your blood, so it'd be very hard to give it up and do something else. But this looks like quite a nice setup.
Yeah.
Tell me, chaps, tell me finally, you've got a reputation in London particularly for being party-goers, meaning that you're out every night making the scene. Now, I know for a fact you were at Bon Jovi last night. I'm not sure where you were, but I'm sure it wasn't somewhere good.
I was recovering, yeah. I was recovering from the night before.
Would you say it's justified, your reputation as party-goers?
Well, yeah, we'd rather be out being sociable, you know, and keeping up with the new bands and whatever than sitting in front of the TV watching Sky Channel. No.
Oh, where are you
Sorry,
going tonight? Where are you going tonight after the show then?
I'm recovering from last night, actually.
You're not going
We have to compare notes. There's several days on tonight, so we have to decide on which is the most socially acceptable one.
Go to the mall. Go to the mall, dear.
No. I mean, there's a whole etiquette about where you go in London, you know. There's certain nights you don't go to certain clubs, you know, so...
Oh, well...
I mean, we know this by experience.
Phil, thank you very much.
Cheers,
thanks, Neil Murray.
Thank you.
Mick, you'll be back with us next week.
I will.
Yeah?
Thanks very much, boys.
And next week, I'm going to have Ron Kill in the studio and a brilliant, the best competition ever on Sky Tracks. And Mick will be back with me. Yeah?
Goodbye.
See you next week. Don't forget to keep sending the slogans. I'm going to read some more out next week. Kill to take us out with Right to Rock.